the most full bandwagon entering the 2016 season is the silver and black bandwagon in Oakland, California. Welcome, Jack Del Rio, back to the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Coach?
Hey, Rich. Good. How are you this morning?
Have you noticed the bandwagon is a little bit more full this year than in previous years?
Listen, not really. I mean, I think people realize that, that we were, I guess, maybe relevant last year.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. But that's all I'm hearing is this is it. This is your playoff season. You're going to take a big leap forward. That is all I am hearing, Coach. How do you temper those thoughts within your locker room?
Well, we just focus on the process of preparing, and then we go out and compete. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So, we don't really, other than when I get asked, don't really spend a whole lot of time talking about it. I mean, I'm constantly reminding our guys of what it looks like to prepare like a good football team, with purpose and where the preparation is paramount, where you're really dialing it in so that you can understand exactly what you need to do to help the team win on game day, and that you're ready to go out there and then give your best effort when that game day arrives.
What are you talking about with your quarterback right now, in particular? Walk me through this
continue to make good decisions. We've given him more latitude. He's kind of earned that. He's a bright guy. He studies. He's got a couple years under his belt now, and as he's more familiar with our offense, being the second year in the same system, and so with that, there's an opportunity to open things up a little bit and give him more latitude, more freedom at the line. And
then what about Amari Cooper? What about these other young kids entering second or third years in your campaign there?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's good to see. They have a really good relationship. Derek and Amari they room together in camp, and that was talked about a lot during training camp. They've made great efforts to get on the same page, and with Crabtree and the rest of the receivers, just wanting to be on the same page with the quarterback. That's really big for you. And
Latavius Murray, how does one prepare a young running back for the full campaign? Last year he was a bit spotty for the full 16 games after bursting onto the scene a couple of years before. How does one prepare a young running back for the rigors, Coach Del Rio?
Yeah, last year, he was the main guy that got a lot of carries. I think Latavius, sees himself as a guy that wants to, do bigger and better things. We've got some young players behind him that we think can give us a change of pace and spell him. But we expect to run the ball. So, people ask me, do I want to run it less with him? No, actually, I'd like to run it more with him and more with other guys as well. I think we need to be able to run the ball better as a football team, going into 2016. That's one of our stated goals. And, we'll need all those backs to carry the ball and do a nice job of it.
How good is Khalil Mack? How good is he?
He's a great young player, great young talent. He's got excellent work ethic, and so we're really blessed because one thing that we've been able to do is acquire some young talent that is wired the right way. Khalil and Amari and Derek, some of these younger players that we've drafted. These guys are wired right. They're good players. They're good teammates. They're good people. And they come to work every day.
Now, you do realize that what you said about Derek and what people are saying about Amari and what you said about Amari and Crabtree, threw him in there, I heard that. And with Latavius and the good young kids behind him and how good Khalil Mack is, they're all wired right. That's exactly why your bandwagon's so full. You do realize that, right, Coach?
Well, that's okay. I mean, it still comes down to going out and playing well. And every team across the league at this point is optimistic about what the season may bring. And we're just busy preparing and getting ready to go into the challenge of, facing New Orleans, the New Orleans Saints at home, Sean Payton and Drew Brees, and that duo's been very successful in their time together down there in New Orleans. So we know we have a strong test coming, in front of us, and we're preparing for it.
And the first Peyton, you mentioned him wearing a robe for DirecTV and commercials right now.
That's a great spot, isn't it?
It is hilarious with
I love it.
With him writing down his brother Eli on Tuesday and Lionel Richie singing. But that's the reason why everyone thinks the AFC West is wide open. Coach, would you agree with that assessment?
Well, I know this. I know when we finished up the last campaign, a team in our division won the Super Bowl, and they may be stronger Then we had a team that finished second in our division that beat us twice, and they're in front of us. And I know San Diego and Mike McCoy's done a great job, and they've had a good off season. So we've got a strong division. I look forward to battling. I look forward to getting our team prepared and going in and fighting against these guys, and we'll see what happens.
And when it all comes down to it, Coach, and you got a campaign that you got to get started, and you're up and running. And you're in the middle of a season, and then and I know you've got your own stuff to take care of. When you see a trade like the one that the Vikings and the Eagles pulled off, what do you think as another coach in the league when you see a big trade involving a starting quarterback 8 days before the season, Coach?
Well, that's obviously triggered by something significant occurring in the last week or two leading up to the season. I think nobody would script it that way and hope to, that's the way you'd have to approach it. But certainly, I think the way I look at it from Minnesota's standpoint, they're trying to make sure that they fix that piece because they have a really good football team, and I think the other place they just decided that it's time for the young guy to play, and they could get value from a veteran. So I mean, it's both teams making decisions they have to make for themselves. Right now, honestly, Rich.
Yeah, I know you're locked in.
I gave you a little. I'm surprised I didn't just say, "Well, that's their business." But
no, I know, and I appreciate you gave me that latitude. But I also just figured I'm talking to an NFL head coach, and I'm talking to somebody that knows what it takes to prepare, and just trying to give my listeners and viewers a little idea of what do you think it would be like. I guess I'm turning into the role of an analyst, if you don't mind for a second.
They got a little insight to what it might look like if we were sitting at the owners' meetings and we just had that conversation over a cold beverage.
I guess that's minus the owners' meeting and the cold beverage. I guess that's what I was attempting to turn this into right now. Is that would it normally just take a lot for somebody to stroll into a new spot and get up to speed? Coach?
Yeah, that's asking a lot of anybody. But we're talking about veterans, and I'm sure smart coaches. And hey, we'll see.
Okay.
I've got to find a way to slow down the Saints and get our offense going, and have our special team show up, and find a way as our football team to go down there and play well.
Okay. Jack Del Rio joining me here. Then let's get down to the serious brass tacks. How are you on your campaign to wear a suit on the sideline? I'm focused. I might be the only person who asks you these questions, but it's crucial to me. Where are you on this front?
Where
Coach?
are we, Will, on that? Will Kiss is sitting right here in my office. So where are we on that opportunity to wear a suit campaign? Yeah, well, I'm going to have to look into that, Rich. I don't have any update for you.
Come on now.
Right now. It remains something I'd love to do to honor Coach Matt.
Yeah, right. The tie flapping in the breeze in the black hole.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. I need to find a short sleeve shirt.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then put the tie on,
Short sleeve, yes.
Shed the jacket and have the short sleeve shirt, and I got to leave it hanging out of my britches a little bit because it was always untucked.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason why, so many people think you're such a great fit for this program is you go way back with the Raiders, and now here you are trying to lead a renaissance. Do you take any moment at all to think about that as you go about your business, Coach?
I do take a lot of time thinking about it. I do spend a lot of time thinking about it. I cherish the opportunity that I have here. And I spend time educating the players. I mean, we actually have our young players. This is the second year in a row that we've had some of our rookie class. They've been given assignments, and they have to get up in front of the team and talk about different Raider greats. So we want to educate them on some of the great players that came before us, and understand the legacy that is here as a part of this organization. And we want to embrace it. We don't want to hide from it. Obviously, we have to create our own. We're busy at work doing our own thing, but we want to kind of recognize and pay respect to the guys that came before us.
Yeah, so it's like Derek Carr preparing a paper on Ken Stabler. Is that essentially what's happening?
Except not Derek, except it'd be Connor Cook.
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because Derek knows the whole deal. What'd you think about that moment where Stabler goes into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and there's Biletnikoff and Art Shell and the Stork, revealing the bust? What'd you think of that moment?
I thought it was awesome. I thought honestly it was overdue. But I'm happy that his family was able to to have that happen. I would have loved for it to have occurred when Kenny was still with us. But that was a great moment for the family and certainly for the Raider Nation.
Coach, I appreciate the 10 minutes before your big first week, and I appreciate the time as always.
My pleasure, Rich. Good talking with you.
You got it. That's Jack Del Rio.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.